Hello, my loves. How are you? So, this morning, it took me a little bit to get on here because I had a busy morning. But this morning, when I was having my coffee and relaxing in the window, I got a download to share with you because I feel like there's someone or many of you, or several of you, who have been asking for some support of what to focus on when things might feel a bit uncertain. And I was guided to share with you simple but powerful intentions that can help you sort of return to that internal union focus. And I found these to be very core human wounds at the root of them in my work within myself, but also in the collective energies when I take that eagle eye perspective and look at our planet in general terms. These are I'm going to give you five things that you can be aware of and that you can focus on to support your internal union. Okay. So, one is like really focusing on unraveling or setting the intention to dissolve any fears around loss, rejection, or feeling replaced. Now, these things come up in our system, especially on these journeys, but they can go to inner child wounds and growing up and even just every area of our life, right? We have these experiences, the ancestors had these experiences. And one thing that can be really helpful to replace this energy of the fear of loss, rejection, or being replaced is building self trust with yourself, really cultivating and setting the intention to trust yourself and to trust the higher power. And knowing that even when those emotions or those experiences might come up in your system, you don't have to continue to identify with them in the way that they maybe once had a hold of you. Okay. You acknowledge that they're there, you acknowledge that they're present, and they might probably feel pretty uncomfortable, and that's okay. Right. And as you're going through that and you're setting the intention to acknowledge that it's there, and understanding there's going to be some space and grace and time that's going to allow you to bring in your new intentions. And as you're setting those intentions, it's sort of going to be this dance of building that muscle of noticing where those fears come in, right? The fears, the loss, the rejection, the replacement, and how you can drop into the self trust is by sitting with yourself and deciding how can you replace those feelings and thoughts with your own love. How can you show up for yourself? How can you work with mitigating those fears and acknowledging that they're present and that's okay, right? And you might not want to lose that person or to feel replaced or to feel rejected, but in the sense, you sit there and sort of ask yourself, okay, how can I show up for myself? How can I be present for myself? How can I make myself a priority? Okay, loves, how can I accept myself deeper and deeper? Okay. And then this goes right into number two, which is that core wound of feeling unworthy, unworthy physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, just as a human being. The way the collective energies kind of get set up in a lot of ways is that we feel like kind of out of the gate, maybe not good enough or not worthy of receiving what we want. And even if we have gotten into those modes of saying, yes, I want more, and you're moving in that direction and you're showing up for yourself and you're aligning with what you deserve, you still might have times where you hit pockets where your more of that comes up, and that's okay. That's where you drop back into deepening and strengthening the unconditional love for yourself. Notice what, where, why, where, or how you might be feeling unworthy. And if there's anything to address, then go ahead and like drop in those new intentions. But also be aware that sometimes these energies are coming up as you're deepening into your work because they may be ancestral memories or patterns or feelings of unworthiness. And in fact, you may notice if you look back at observing your mother and your father, or your grandparents or aunts or uncles, there may be some clues that you notice around some of these patterns in the family lines. Okay. And this is not to blame or shame anyone in any way, shape, or form. Everybody just did the best that they could. But as you sort of go into this to heal and love yourself deeper in those unworthiness wounds, you can also send that love back through the ancestral lines and set that example for the ancestors and also for any of your children or future generations if you have some present with you or you are going to have some. Okay. And then another deep core wound that many have is betrayal. And that feeling can be like literally big betrayals of feeling lied or cheated or stolen from. But sometimes even in our system, there can be this sense of betrayal that we experienced, say, as a little kid, and no one was actually technically betraying us. But say mom and dad dropped you off at the first day of school and left you, and you were uncertain of what was happening, and they just dropped you off with these strangers and they left. And even though their intention was loving and supportive, that could have come into your system and felt like a sense of betrayal. And even as time went on and you realized that they were just doing what they believed was good for you, there might still be some of that frozen sort of betrayal energy in your system. And that kind of feeds into those fears of loss, rejection, unworthiness. You see these all kind of dance together. But it's beautiful because you can bring it back down to these other ways of working with the energy when these things come up in your system. And if you're feeling or working with any sense or energies of betrayal, you can work with dropping in the energy of self devotion, my loves. Like I said, this is all centered around bringing it back to inner union in all of the ways that you can work with showing up for yourself, in remembering that sometimes people had every intention and every desire to show up for us and to love us and to support us and be devoted to us. But again, they could only offer to us what was in their system and what they had available for themselves. Okay. So that's where observing what other people are experiencing, we can have compassion for their ways of being or maybe how they were with us, even if it wasn't necessarily what we deserved or what we wanted. But we can start to acknowledge and have compassion for the situation and then bring in the self compassion deeper and drop into devoting to yourself and aligning with choosing to show up for yourself in all of those ways or in any ways that others are not able to show up for you. This is exceedingly powerful work because when you are learning, it's like the outer mirror, the people that have been mirroring these experiences to us. Oftentimes, it was people who were close to us or responsible for us growing up, parents, neighbors, teachers, family. Realizing and understanding that they were offering us this mirror. They were supporting us in the ways that they can, but also in that realization of where we didn't have necessarily our needs or wants met. Yes, we have to acknowledge if there was any hurt or pain or suffering around those, honor that, show up for yourself, love yourself, get yourself support. But then also, in a sense, you can be thankful on the other side of it because now you know how to provide for yourself and what you want to provide for yourself. So anything that you felt you've been lacking in your life or that you're wanting that is not present, those are the things that you want to cultivate, my loves. This all goes hand in hand with how we've been talking about cultivating more joy and happiness in ways that are actually life-giving and sustaining and moving us into the flourishing energies. And so these things that I'm sharing are sort of a deeper level of pop off of focus and now bringing this awareness through these processes as I go into number 4 on this list of powerful intentions is to notice and shore up any energy leaks or places you might be overgiving or feeling like you're getting pulled from, whether you're knowing it or not. Because one of the things that I see on our planet is that we have a lot of dynamics, or did, in you may observe this or experience it in your life where there might be two people and one is in a tendency to overgive to the other, and the other is allowing themselves to receive that from that person. And that person who's overgiving is wanting to receive from that person, but that person a lot of times will be tending to be overgiving to other people, places, or things in their life and not have the energy to return to the person that's overgiving. This is why this entire dynamic and energy of inner union is so incredibly important. Because when we learn to show up for ourselves and to fill our own cup, we're shoring up our energetic field. And when you show up for yourself and you provide for yourself and you stand in your own truth and your own love, without needing someone else to fill that in, what you're doing is actually creating beautiful, natural, healthy, energetic boundaries because your system isn't open and leaking excess energy trying to get yourself what you're needing, okay? Because you're actually redirecting it and providing it to yourself. And then when your cup is full, you can share your excess energy out into the world with others in whatever way you find can be reciprocal and supportive for you and the other person, okay? So it's really moving into these other ideas of showing up for yourself first in a way that's a powerful way to actually shore up your energetic boundaries. Just a gentle balance and energy of noticing and being aware of not over giving. And I'm not talking about like sometimes you show up for a friend or a person more than they're able to show up for you because they're having a hard time. I'm not talking about like in a instance or for a time. I'm talking about these more long-standing patterns, and you're going to know when it feels out of balance because you will feel tired. You won't feel the reciprocity. Things will start to feel unbalanced. And that's when you'll know, okay, it's time to take a little bit of a step back. This can be happening for lots of reasons, one of which you both also may be ready to grow to your next levels. So it's important to give each other that space. Okay, loves. Again, you make yourself your priority. You turn that energy back into your self care, and then you allow yourself to move forward after that. In fact, I had some other calls to keep making, but I felt guided to come on here and share this video. But before I did, I was guided to make myself a nice fresh juice so that I'm making sure I'm taking care of myself first so that I can show up for you guys in a healthy and vibrant way, right? Where I'm sustaining and maintaining my energy, then I'm able to come forward with you. Making sure I'm eating and replenishing my physical resources is an important part of being able to do this work. So that's just an example. So, another thing that I was guided to talk to you about is setting the intention. As we talk a lot here about dropping into asking for our highest timeline and our highest truth, right? So, one of the things that you can do if you're in situations, relationships, jobs, contracts, experiences that you're uncertain about, you can start to ask for and to be shown and unravel or clear out of any false alignments, agreements, or false timelines or connections that are not in your highest alignment or not in your highest alignment at this time. Because as you are moving into your sovereignty, into your unconditional self love, is you're learning how to provide for yourself where you used to be codependent with others, you may find that many or all of your relationships go through a time and a period of upgrade. I myself have experienced this in literally every single one of my relationships, especially over the last few years. And it's been a beautiful process that has allowed myself to move into my next levels and layers and my you know, next versions, but it's also allowed the connections and relationships and experiences to recalibrate. There's not a need to shut it out forever, at least for me. It's more of like, okay, let's give ourselves space to grow and see where we land. Okay. Because as you are going through this process of asking for the divine alignment in your highest timeline, as you set that intention and as you take that focus and again make yourself a priority, you drop into, I'm going to review this right here, self trust, right? Learning to really trust yourself and show up for yourself, unconditionally self loving energies, putting yourself as a priority so that you have the energy to care for yourself and show up for yourself. Dropping into energy of self devotion. Again, treating yourself with that deep reverence and sacred worthiness, letting yourself actually understand that you are a sacred being on this planet and that you deserve to be treated as such. And you deserve to experience those sacred connections and energies. And that begins with you treating yourself with that sacred devotion, my loves. Okay. And again, harmonizing your energy and shoring up your natural, energetic, healthy boundaries by working with a gentle dance of not over giving or over receiving, but allowing yourself to be in that energy of reciprocity and camaraderie, my loves. Of course, like I said, it's not like a mathematical exact equation. To me, it's this feeling, it's this energy, and that all connects with building the self-trust. And once again, if you are uncertain at any point with any of these things, that's okay. You ask for that clarity, you ask for the guidance, and you give yourself some space and grace to continue to build that trust and make your decisions once you're feeling more comfortable and confident within those decisions for yourself. Okay, loves? And the last one, again, is dropping into asking for that divine highest alignment. And I think an important part to speak on about this is setting that intention will shift the trajectory of your life over time. Okay. Some of it might happen immediately, but it's something that you will notice results as you continue to move forward. You'll notice as you're transforming and as you are becoming more confident and more self loving and more self trusting and more self devoted. And you've made yourself a priority, then you will notice that more and more of that natural flowing divine alignment will show up in your life and in your world more consistently. And you'll start to feel more of that flow and alignment in your physical life that's going to help you get to where you want to go. Now, just be knowing that as you're going in this process, you're going to still be unraveling old patterns and old ways of being and old beliefs or old restrictions in your system or in your life. but that's all okay. That doesn't mean you're not on your highest timeline. It means you are on the move to get there, my loves, okay? And you're in this process, you're embracing this process, you're deepening your devotion and your commitment to yourself, to your inner union, to your sacred union as a sacred being, which is ultimately aligning you with exactly what is meant for you. And as you drop into these energies for yourself and you start to create for yourself what you're wanting and how you want to feel, and you're prioritizing yourself and treating yourself with that, you are going to very naturally magnetize to you what is also in alignment with that frequency. What is best for you at that time in that match. Okay. So it also will keep dancing as you keep growing. Those frequencies and those people and those experiences will also keep growing. Okay, my loves. And just like you're manifesting how you want to feel, right? If you're focusing on how you want to feel, even if you don't know what you want yet, exactly, but you know that you want to feel certain things like joy, peace, fun, right? As you are focusing on that and you're freeing yourself up from the old restrictions, you're actually in the process of manifesting those feelings. And what happens is new opportunities that you may have never even known existed can open up. So the thing kind of starts to become, if you're manifesting how you want to feel, when you're manifesting being treated like the sacred, loving being that you are, you're most likely not going to be very concerned with what you're doing or who's there with you, because it's going to be all of the things that you've been asking for, my loves. It's going to be what is in alignment with you and for you. Okay. So we're going to leave it there. I hope that this was helpful for you. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling, if this felt good for you right now, if there's any of these that you want me to dive deeper into. Let me know, and I will talk to you and see you very soon. I'm also going to drop my one-on-one schedule in the pinned comment. I have a few sessions open for next week if any of you feel called. And above and beyond that, I hope you have an absolutely beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you very soon. Love you. Bye.